In the 6th century BCE, the northern Indian subcontinent was highly fragmented. The landscape was divided into 16 distinct Mahajanapadas, large warring states that constantly clashed over borders and resources. Governing a single kingdom during this era was a localized, delicate balancing act. A king had a finite pool of manpower and wealth, leaving his borders perpetually vulnerable to the ambitions of his neighbors. But rulers rarely wanted to stop at a single kingdom. They were driven by the ambition for imperium, or supreme power. The ultimate goal was to become a samraj, an emperor. This creates a massive logistical problem. How exactly do you stretch one administration across a vast, culturally diverse subcontinent without the entire structure collapsing under its own weight? Forging an empire out of this fractured landscape demanded a complete overhaul of state design. It was a systems engineering problem. The kingdom that finally solved this equation was Magadha. Located in modern-day South Bihar, it enjoyed a crucial geographic advantage. Thick forests provided timber and elephants, while deep, navigable rivers allowed for highly efficient transport. This timeline tracks the political evolution of ancient India, starting from the era of those 16 squabbling kingdoms and culminating around 300 BCE with the vast Mauryan Empire. Magadha achieved this expansion because its rulers, particularly the Mauryas, built a highly scalable socio-political machine, and that machine operated on 3 distinct interlocking layers. The first layer is raw military force. Guided by the master strategist Kauṭilya, Emperor Chandragupta Maurya systematically overthrew his rivals and established a powerful central army to lock down the subcontinent. Mauryan forces expanded aggressively, even pushing into the northwest to defeat the remaining Greek satraps, the regional governors left behind by Alexander the Great. But instead of trying to micromanage every conquered territory, they implemented a tributary system. Defeated local kings were allowed to stay in power on the condition that they submit to the emperor by paying tribute, regular shipments of grain, gold, and livestock to the capital. By outsourcing local governance to tributary vassals, the Mauryas kept the empire intact and resources flowing upward, without needing to build an impossibly massive central bureaucracy. All of those tributary resources flowed into the second layer of the machine, the administrative infrastructure, centralized in the capital city of Pāṭaliputra. This illustration depicts Pāṭaliputra's formidable defenses, including towering wooden ramparts, watchtowers, and a deep moat crossed by a heavy drawbridge. Inside, the city ran on advanced civic systems, with couriers navigating well-planned streets and large water vessels maintained for fire safety. Pāṭaliputra was engineered to be a highly regulated, secure processing core where the daily administrative work of an entire subcontinent could happen safely. Maintaining massive standing armies and fortified, multi-story capitals drains a treasury quickly. To fund the system, the empire relied on its third layer, economics. This map displays the continental trade networks secured to move high-value goods like textiles, spices, and gems over vast distances. Ancient texts note that artisans and traders had authority to lay down their own internal rules, and the king deliberately avoided interfering with them. By letting the śhrenīs manage their own supply chains, the state successfully outsourced its economic growth. Trade flourished, and the emperor collected massive tax revenues with zero micromanagement. Stacked together, you have a complete operational framework, a tributary base supplying resources, a fortified administrative core managing the state, and an autonomous, continent-spanning economy funding the whole operation. Yet, a distinct paradox sits at the center of this achievement. The political unity and economic prosperity enjoyed by millions were only made possible through brutal warfare, subjugation, and the constant threat of force. Because they rely on continuous military repression to keep tributary states in line, empires are inherently fragile. Over time, internal pressures mount, and central authority inevitably fractures. While the Mauryan rulers eventually fell, their systems survived them. The physical trade routes, the administrative practices, and that self-organizing mercantile spirit endured for centuries after the emperors were gone. The systemic blueprint the Mauryas engineered became their true legacy. permanently weaving the subcontinent's diverse threads into a single civilization.